there, YouTube family, and welcome into another paint by numbers, which is going to be a very matte, soft cut crease, which is this look right here, using the BH Cosmetics Modern Matte palette. And I'm so excited to be bringing this to you. I love doing these tutorials and I'm trying to get back into more tutorials. So if you love tutorials and you want me to keep doing them, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you're just stopping by, I would love for you to subscribe and become a part of the family. Let's get right into this because this is going to be a little bit longer than the videos that I've been doing lately, because it is all about me teaching you guys a technique, and you know that I like to talk. So let's get into it. I'm using my Scotch tape to create a template for myself, and what I do is I go from the tail of my eyebrow into the corner of my eye, leaving about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch there for my eyeliner to blend very well. So I am using the BH Cosmetics Modern Matte 28 color eyeshadow palette, and that's what it looks like if you've never seen it before. So what I'm going to be doing for this look is taking this very cool brown right here. It's almost on the gray side. So what I'm going to do, because I do want this look to be on the brown cool side, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this color over here with that one, and we'll probably come up with a really good color for that. I'm going to take a Morphe M441 to do this look. I'm just going to dip and roll these into those two shadows right here until I feel like it's got enough on there. Now, you guys, what I do to get more in the brush, but not too much, is I actually roll it across the lid a little bit, and then I go ahead and I tap it off. And I tap off every bit of excess I can get. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this directly in my crease, because what I'm doing is like a cut crease on here. So I'm going to be laying it immediately into the crease, just paying attention to just above the crease. I don't want to go too far below it, because then I would just create too much of a muddy mess. And notice that I don't use windshield wiper motions like most people do. I actually use little swirls on there to be able to get my look to be cohesive. And I am just going to go back and forth and blend the crap out of this. So this is what takes a lot of time. And I'm going to show you on this one eye fast forwarded, and then I'll do the other eye off camera. Okay, so when you have a hooded eye, you want to really pay attention to this outside right here. This part right here doesn't need to have any space between your eyebrow and your eyelid. Okay, so it's almost like this straight line technique that I've shown before. So I did bring it quite a ways over here, because when you're doing a cut crease look, you really need to have quite a bit over there in order for it to look like a cut crease in the end, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm going to do my other eye off camera. Some of you may be wondering why I didn't do what normal YouTubers do in the base coat or the base color, like a white or a cream or something, to go all over the mobile lid. They do that so that they don't get skipping and they don't get patchiness and stuff. I just find that what's the use in primer, and this is just my own experience. Primers are meant to do two things: to create a barrier between your eyelid, which is probably moisturized, and your eyeshadow, so your eyeshadow doesn't crease. So it's basically so your eyeshadow doesn't crease, but it also is made for your eyeshadow to last a long time throughout the day. And I just feel that if you immediately put on a straight eye color or a light eye color all over, you're taking away a lot of the grip that can do throughout the day. And so I have a tendency not to do that. I know that most makeup artists do that, but for me, I find that my eyeshadow lasts so much longer if I don't. I don't get a lot of skipping and creasing or anything like that, even though I do have a fairly crepey eyelid, because I have a tendency to start really small and build up. So I use very little color in the beginning and then I build up. Next, I'm going to use a flat shader brush from Royal and Langnickel. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mix these two colors right right here, this deep gray, and then this lighter one right here, so that I can get that smoky eye look. So I'm actually not going to use a lot of this, just a little bit on my brush back and forth. And then I'm going to again rub it into the lid so I can use all the product, and then I'm going to tap it off. And so this part, I actually do pull my eye out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right down here in the corner and right into the crease where the crease ends. And I'm going to just start to build up a deeper color on the outside. Right now, it's really important to use a light touch, and it's really important to go slowly, because you can easily overdo this very, very quickly. And I'm not doing a super smoky eye, I'm just doing a light one today. So you're going to be able to see what you need to do. Come in about 2/3 of the way on the eye. I hope that this is picking up very easily on the camera. Come in about 2/3 of the way on the eye in the crease itself, and you can go a tiny bit above that. But you see how you're creating almost the V right there? That's really what I want to do. So now that I've created it, I'm going to take what's left on my brush, and I'm going to just gently and easily blend that upward. Come down into the corner of your eye down there so that the color is evenly distributed, and so that when you go to do your eyeliner, you're going to be able to connect that easily. And then in this outer part right here, I'm going to continue to pull that up just a little bit with what's left on my brush. I'm not using more shadow because we don't need it. We get too dark too quickly. And I'm just going to continue to pull that upward. Now I know that I did fast forward that quite a ways, but did you see even in the fast forward how long it took me to blend out? You really want your eyeshadow to have a standout look. Blending is the key to a beautiful, beautiful eyeshadow look. Okay, we're going to take that same brush we were using, and I'm just going to go into that charcoal gray and I pick it up, and this is where I'm going to be using just a very little bit, because all I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be going into this outer corner, and I'm just going to work it along the line right there. And the reason that I'm darkening that up so much is because that's going to give me an illusion of a cat eye in the end, and that looks really beautiful. Now I want you to go back to your original brush, and I want you to just go inward and blend your look all together, what we have so far. Recently, when I was doing a tutorial and giving some tips, I got a question on how do I keep my eyelid color or my eyelid shadow from transferring onto my upper lid. And the best way to do that, take some Max Fix Plus or any spray that you have and spray your brush. Okay, so we're gonna work with this pink color right here. And I always, because it doesn't necessarily really do anything to your shadows, but it can make them harder. So what I do is I always stick to an outer corner of the eyeshadow in order to pick it up. I don't like to get that moisture onto the whole entire shadow. So I'm just gonna pick up from the corner. And again, I'm using the second one over on the pink. So now we're gonna start at the eyelash line, and we are going to create our cut crease. And you do not go, you figure out where your eye ends right there, and you just trace along there with this color. And I can tell you right now that this color is a little bit too deep for what I'm wanting. So I'm going to put some on the other eye as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and lighten it up with another color. So again, you're going to trace along there all the way out, and then go right up into your crease, being very careful not to go too far above that crease, because that's what a cut crease is actually carving out the mobile lid. Okay, so that just looked too orangey. So I'm going to go into the lighter pink. It probably looks white on camera, but it is a lighter pink. And since my brush is still wet, I'm gonna just go in there, and I'm just going to grab some. Okay, same thing. And we're just going to continue to try and lighten up that mobile lid. Okay, so I'm going to take a dry brush because this shadow is not working really well with wet. So I'm going to take a dry brush and I'm just going to lay some more color down because I tried to lay it down with my fingers. It seemed to work a little better. So yes, that is so much better to work with dry. Some shadows just don't work very well being wet. So that is what happened here. So a little bit of a learning curve for both of us, but it works wonderful on shimmers and metallics, just so you know, to have them not transfer to your upper lid. So I just took a little bit of dry and capped that off in order for it to really lighten it up. Okay, now I'm going to go back with that initial little flat shader brush, and I'm going to go in with that little bit lighter of a gray color, which is right here. And I'm going to just do a teeny bit on this outside to blend it in a little tiny bit. So now I'm pretty good at everything. I think it looks really fairly even, except for this one looks a little bit swooped up. So what I'm going to do to take care of that little swoop is I'm going to blend that and just give it a little zhuzh there. Okay, now I'm going to take the tape off and we should have a fairly decent looking like swoop to our eyes. This is a very, very cool eye look, you guys. Cool toned eye look. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Okay, now I'm using the Benefit Highbrow. One of the things I really, really like about this is you can get fairly precision without messing up your makeup. So I'm just going to do it just a teeny tiny bit right there on that brow. I'm not bringing it very far out because I don't want to mess with the little swoop we got going there. So I'm going to do that again over here. And I just feel like it really does a really good job with that. And then I'm going to put just a tiny bit right above my brow. Just again to try and continue that look of a lifted eye look. I'm going to use just a felt tip eyeliner in Black. You can use any eyeliner you have. This one is from Tarte and I think it's the Man-Eater one. So I'm going to just start from the very inner corner and I'm going as close to the lash line as possible, because if you take this too thick right here, you're going to lose a lot of that mobile lid, and that is not what we're wanting to achieve with a hooded eye. So I might go back over it a couple times just to darken it up. And one thing that I do want to tell you while I'm doing this is I don't come clear down on the outer edge, because I feel like if I do, that pulls my eye down. And again, what are we doing? We're looking for a lifted look. Okay, now we're going to do the under eyes or the bottom lash line. I'm just using this Essence Gel Pencil. It's waterproof. And I am going to go into, I'm going to grab a beauty blender here because I don't want to mess that up with my fingers. And I'm going to just go across the inner rim. You don't have to do this part. I just like it for a smoky eye. And then right there on the outside, I'm actually going to use this same liner and I'm just going to barely, I mean, I'm not even talking about a third of the way in, line that just a little bit on that outside. Now I'm going to take that charcoal right there. I'm using a pencil brush from Sigma. This is the E50, and I'm just going to roll it in there. And again, I'm going to roll it across my lid and I'm going to tap it off. And then I'm just going to take where I ended my line right there, and I'm just going to very, very carefully go under here, just ever so slightly. And then once again, and then I'm going to smoke it out, and I'm just going to use a bigger pencil brush that's clean from Royal & Langnickel, and I'm just going to blend the two together. Okay, so I'm glad that I messed this up just a little bit, because I have a really good learning thing for you guys. Just take a makeup wipe and put it across your finger like this, and just barely clean up the little bit of, you know, if you did a little bit of a mess, which I did. And just clean that up just ever so slightly so that they run together smoothly. And that's what you want there. Now you might have to retouch your concealer a little bit, that's okay. But definitely you want that to be like a smooth line. I had a little bit of a bump coming down, but you want that to be a smooth line. I'm going to use this single shadow from ColourPop called On the Fence because it's a beautiful shimmer and it's also the perfect pink that I want. But I'm sure that if you have anything in your arsenal, it would be just fine to use. So I'm just going to go into this inner corner a little bit and lighten it up. And what I'm trying to do is just stick with that beautiful theme of that pink right there. And then on the other side. And I'm going to just kind of bring it around the eyelid right there. Just for a pretty little pop right there. And that is it. You can trail it up into this look if you want to, just a tiny bit. But this is pretty much just a matte look. And you guys have been asking for that for a while, and I wanted to bring it to you. So I hope that you like this look.